Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel where I have a treat for you here. Just look at what I found here in my own local computer reset warehouse. This is a TVM pre-VGA monitor, or an EGA monitor, a multicolor monitor from TVN, which is capable of displaying an EGA display signal. And just look at this thing. I mean, the logo, the knobs, it fits perfectly with this old IBM computer and reflects an era in computing time where we were kind of migrating towards VGA but weren't there yet. It was in pretty awful shape and needs a lot of cleanup, but these things are really hard to come by, and if you do find them, they are probably in a non-working state, so I really lucked out with this one. So this should only need a thorough cleanup. There is a little bit of damage on the front, so not everything will scrub off, but that's fine. I mean, this is a pretty unique item. TVM color monitor from a local computer shop here in Belgium with the beautiful dials here, multi-display. And just look at it sitting here on this IBM. I mean, this fits it perfectly. Now, when I went on to turn it on for the first time, I wasn't really convinced that it would actually work. The green LED came on, and you get this white, noisy display that you typically get on these types of screens when nothing is attached. But when I hooked it up to a PC of which I thought it had an EGA output, I didn't get anything on the display. So after some fiddling around with jumpers on the PC and the various dials on the monitor, I did get some kind of output, but it was pretty messy. Not sure if this was related to the monitor or the various jumpers on the PC and display card. I fiddled with them a little bit and eventually got to this blinking cursor, which was already better, but not really the display I had in mind for this beautiful EGA screen. Now afterwards, of course, it came to me that the Philips PC that was hooked up to this monitor doesn't start when there is no keyboard connected, and it just sits there with this cursor. And that was the thing that was happening here. But then the cursor all of a sudden became green, and that was because I was playing around with these dials, not really knowing what they were doing. And as I turned off the monitor, the entire thing went green. So of course, again, I thought that the monitor was bad. But luckily that was not the case, because as I hooked it up to my IBM with an EGA card, the display started working fine. But now time for some cleaning and a little bit of a backstory. Now, some time ago, somewhere around September last year, I was finally able to find and purchase an IBM EGA monitor, the 5154. Now, this is kind of a unicorn in retro PC land, especially for IBM collectors, as this monitor is extremely difficult to find. Now, a fellow retro enthusiast was also searching for the same monitor, but I beat him to the punch. Now, I did make a promise then that if I ever found another EGA monitor, whether it's this IBM 5154 or another one, that I would offer it to him. And that time has come, so it's time for me to keep my promise. Now, I'm not going to be giving him this monitor in this state, so I am going to be doing some cleanup. So first we need to remove a couple of screws here. There aren't that many that we need to remove to get the case off, but let's start with that. So I noticed that the monitor was already missing one screw, but that shouldn't be that much of an issue. So let's go ahead and remove those here, and then we can pop the lid off. And here we go. So the lid comes off pretty easily. Just need to pay some attention to the cable that's coming through the case here. And now we can take a closer look. Now I have to say in advance that I have this kind of death terror regarding old CRT monitors in terms of fixing them or coming into close contact with them. I know that these are high voltage devices. I neither have the experience nor the tools to properly handle them. So I wouldn't recommend anyone probing these types of things without proper knowledge of them. So I'm not going to be showing anything here. I am going to be cleaning the case here, so I'm just going to rinse it off first with some water. It was a really nice day, so took the thing outside. And then I started the cleaning process. So most of the dirt came off pretty easily. And it's always kind of rewarding to get the monitor into a presentable state, especially giving the look and feel of this particular monitor, which actually looks amazing. I'm starting to get second thoughts or whether I should pass it along to somebody else or not, but I mean, a promise is a promise, right? So yeah, now is a good time to let it dry a little bit in the sun. So we're going to be leaving it here for a while. And again, due to time constraints, I wasn't able to get the front cover off, so I had to clean the thing like this. So also give the screen itself a good wipe, just to get it nice and clean. And it already starts to look a lot better. Fortunately, there are some marks at the bottom of the monitor, so that might need a little bit of a touch-up. Also, the top part here was really dirty, so but again, got most of the stuff off pretty easily. So let's put the cover back on. Again, I didn't have time to do a thorough internal cleaning, so that will be up to the future owner of this thing. But I can tell you it already looks a lot nicer than it did before. So let's screw everything back together and see how she looks. And oh man, does that look nice. I mean, it's not 100%, but for a quick cleaning, it actually doesn't look half bad. I forgot a spot here where there used to be some kind of sticker or tape, so I got that off. So this is looking really good. So let's turn it on and take a listen. Because the fan that you are hearing here is not coming from the PC, but it's coming from this monitor. The monitor did have a fan built in. It makes a lot of noise actually. It also has this dial here to change into the various display modes. So here I have it hooked up to a CGA card, and you can actually see it changing display modes. You can turn it into this kind of greenish monochrome, or switch it back to the standard color mode. I've always liked these knobs, especially these that have dual functions where you can not only change display mode, but you can also use them to change the brightness and the contrast. So yeah, they have a really nice feel to them. And even the power knob has a very satisfying click to it. Now, before VGA and EGA came along, people had to do with these types of colors when playing games or running software on color displays. I mean, it wasn't the prettiest color combination, but at least it was better than, you know, black or white or green on black or amber on black. I mean, some games kind of came to life, but you can hardly state that the 4 colors from the 16 color CGA palette that you were able to display at the same time on a screen was the most satisfying thing to look at. Other games that could do with a little bit more color include Indianapolis 500 and also Lemmings, which looks absolutely terrible in CGA mode. Now, the reason games looked like this is because the only color graphic options that you had was limited to CGA cards, like this IBM CGA card in my IBM PC. Now, this was able to display 4 colors at the same time from a 16 color palette. Now, granted, this was better than monochrome in most cases, but it wasn't like you were watching a color television cartoon or something. So to improve the experience, we had EGA. And this is an IBM EGA card that I will now be putting into my IBM PC. Just to show you the difference between CGA with its 4 colors being displayed simultaneously and EGA with up to 16 colors being displayed at the same time. So let's get rid of our CGA card for now and replace it with this EGA card. And here we have our EGA monitor, nicely cleaned up. So let's turn it on and turn on the PC. And the first game I want to show you is Arkanoid, which gives you the option for CGA and EGA. So let's pick the EGA version. And immediately you see that the splash screen looks a lot better. So just a reminder how it looked on the CGA version. Obviously a lot more color options are available here, and the game really stands out compared to the CGA version. And the game looks really great in EGA. At least you can see the different types of blocks here. And just a reminder, this is how it looked like on the CGA monitor. Next game I wanted to show you was the Cycles from Accolade. Now the highest graphics mode you can choose in this game is in fact the EGA mode, because there is no VGA version of this game. And this really demonstrates what you can do with 16 colors. I mean, this game is perfectly playable, it looks good. And again, I mean, here's the CGA version, so you can understand what kind of game changer this was. And again, I mean, comparing it to CGA, which looks like this, there's no denying that the EGA version is a vast improvement. Same goes for Indianapolis 500, which actually brings the game to life. So Lemmings is another game that definitely needs EGA as kind of a minimal display requirement, because I mean, it's actually pretty playable in EGA, but in CGA, I mean, it's pretty awful to look at. And that's it for this video, so I hope you've enjoyed it. I really like these old style EGA monitors, and I'm going to leave you guys with this beautiful game in EGA, Monkey Island, with this beautiful soundtrack. So I hope to see you in the next video. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.